keep coming back to like, why am I trying to do this? Why won't I just be quiet and go home and just sit and do my things? But there's something in me that wants to share this stuff. And I don't know why, but I have learned I don't have to know why to follow my instincts and do things. So, hi, my name's Sarah. I like to share art and sketching, and especially stuff related to pens from time to time. And that's what I'm sharing here today in the 2025 pen collection tour. Because I know firsthand how fun it is to see how other people organize their collections and make decisions about what cool stuff they're going to add to their little dragon cave. I'm not here to teach art, and I'm not one of these amazing artists who's recreating God's vision for the universe with every beautiful thing that they do. And I'm not a butt model. So it's hard to know like where to fit in. But I do know I want to do this. So I'm just gonna do it. That's what's happening. Everything is a mess. And I don't super know what I'm doing with my life. And that means it's time to do a family pen tour and see things have been going with the pens. What I'm going to share are some of my supplies that I've really gravitated toward and used every day, some of it for 5 or 6 years. I think consumption can be a really challenging thing with pens because I personally have wanted to solve my problems with pens quite frequently. But I realized you can just draw up the pens and write about what you would do with them instead of buying them. Like this perfect set from Bennu, and then the Cocoon Oath. It's been great. So let me start with just what I've inked for this month and for the next few weeks. I really just discern, like when I pick up a pen and it's been cleaned and I'm just like, what do I want to see in this? I will dip it a couple times. I'll reference my ink collection. That's one of the things I love most about pens. God, this is so corny. But for real, they let you practice just having instincts about things because there are no right answers with any of this stuff. There's no pink is better than another pink. It's all the same stuff. But to just sit with a pen and see what you feel like putting in it and then doing that and then seeing if you like it, it's just a really cool experience. It's this tiny example of making life totally your own in a world where so much feels out of control. And that's been my year in a lot of ways. So when I say more than half my personality is pens, this is just always this safe place I can come back to where these beautiful little pointless things, like we're all just squirrels, and then we made super cool gold and metal things to write and draw with. I love it. I love it so much. So here we go. This is my ink collection. This is all over the place. I'd say a quarter of this is bottles, and then the rest are sample that I keep in the little kit I got off Amazon, where it came with 50 whatever symbols. And I love it. This has been so convenient to have stuff in and be able to reference all the stuff. What I like to do with samples, there probably half of these are samples that I just really love, but not enough to get a bottle. And then half are things of my own that I've sampled so that I can share with people when I go to a pen meetup or hang out with anybody. The new acquisitions would be in this column. So I got 2 Birminghams on the Slack group for a great deal. They're the huge bottles. Robin's Egg Blue is just perfect. It's perfect. And then Bellflower, I'm still learning to love. I put it in this one for now as I get used to it. And you can see, I did some samples of it. So I've got this middle one is Bellflower. It's like a really deep purple. Then at the pen show over the summer, I picked up Soda Pop Blue, Sunny Teal, Rodeo. I just swatched and then put in a gift basket for something. Poro Poro, I went to the Pelican Festival. My friend Eric and Bina hosted that, and they did an amazing job and had this great space through a local tutoring thing called Kumon that Jennifer put together. It's really cool. And there I got the rose quartz and apricot, and then I also picked up four samples. So wild strawberry, red dragon, voltaic arc, and corroded iron. I thought I'd corroded iron more, but I just really don't. I'd rather use black. And then same for a voltaic arc. I'm gonna regift that because I just don't like Gashi. I'm just not there yet. But this peppermint blue is gorgeous. You can see I really have a thing for teals and blues that are coming together. This whole side over here was an experiment I did to make a book of blue. And I want to do it with some other colors, but I need time and I need my health. So I got a bunch of donated samples and then did a page of each with different pens and things. And this has been a wonderful reference when I'm trying to figure out what blue I want to use. I have a whole video where I walked through these and talked about the different blues. But that's how I discovered my love for Suigyoku and some different things. Some different things that I wasn't sure I'd like. But then once I saw it drawn out, it was really amazing. Like this Celtic Sea. It's how I found Soda Pop Blue as well. Tokyo Denim I currently have in pen. It's really neat. I'd say my top favorites, like they got to me and they stayed inked forever, is going to be Birmingham Saltwater Taffy. We'll see that in action today. Troublemaker Milky Ocean, Tiranishi Opera Rose, and Tiranishi Nostalgic Honey. It was never that bright for me. It was always a little darker brown. That is just extraordinary. And then Memiji, quite frequently, and then Deep Dark Orange. I'd say those were my top 5. There was just always at least one pen, if not 2, with those colors. And of course, Diatramentis Document Black. That's in probably 5 pens right now. And I don't know why. I just keep wanting to see that ink in different pens. And of course, it's just a deep, wonderful black. It's a little wet. It dries water safe, so I can paint with it. I just love it. Love. Another journey I went on was thinking I got the right olivine, but I got Monteverdes, and then finally getting the right olivine. Where'd it go? I may not have swatched it, so I need to swatch that. But finally getting the right olivine, which is the Pelican. Frankly, let's swatch it now. What I do is I make sure I clean off the end of something that's not porous, and then I just dip it real quick till you get a glob on there, and then drop it, and then spread it out. And I just find this green is this beautiful, like, jade forest deep thing, and it's perfect. I love it. I always cap the thing right away after spilling my fair share of bottles. And then once I have it swatched, I like to, well, usually I have a piece of paper, a blotter, but I like to pull up just like a corner of it somewhere so I can see a real range of the color if it's going to shade. So usually I'll do that with a blotter, but I don't know where it is. And then I let it dry. And so the colors, they're really the same, but Pelican just has this, maybe it's the shading is different. Like this one's a lot more saturated and it's like the Rakucha. But this, when it comes out, is just really lovely. And I have it in a green lamy right now. So, Pelican. And I got real lucky. I think it was in the pen group again, but somebody was selling that basically at retail, which it is out of make right now. So most people are jacking up the prices, and I felt very lucky. And so I like it. So especially what I found with inks is I always have some kind of combination where I can do oceany things like these, and it just looks really cool. Or there's some combination that can do flowers or high contrast. So I'm going to have a dark green and a bright pink, or a dark blue or a bright blue and a deep pink. I think that's why my constant inks were always in that combination, because there would be this beautiful contrast. And so my favorite contrast would be saltwater taffy with, where'd you go? With Noodlers, 54th Massachusetts. So like a deep navy with the bright pink, or the opera rose with a deep navy, or the opera rose with a black. It's just lovely. And even like the olivine with the opera rose. My gosh, I it just scratches every part of my brain and body, and I love it. So that's where I was with ink. Let's let this dry. I've got 2 main journals that I still do. This is my 5th or 6th year on Hobonichi and a cousin, and I'll use all of it. So I use the poop, the month spread. I'll do a lot of stickers. I'll let my kids draw on it, so I have these cool memories. It doesn't usually stay pretty. The weeks stay a little more pretty. I like to use washi. Sometimes I like a sticker spread and some ink and watercolor in there. Sometimes I'm on it a lot more than others. I'm going fast just in case there's any private info in here. But I'll have ones that I really like, and then I can see what I like and then make choices about what I'm buying later. I also got a printer that is pretty cool, and I really like it. Highly recommend it. And again, this also let me play with color combinations. So here's like a dark blue. This is the robin's egg with saltwater taffy. And then the day spreads, I really kept up with this quite well. I never had a blank day. Over the years, like my first year, it was really hit or miss and mostly just text. And then I started doodling and just getting to do whatever the heck I wanted. And that really unlocked some wonderful things. So I wouldn't say it was this fun until last year or two. You can see some of the examples of contrast, like this blue and pink. Just love it. Constantly drawing my cat. And some entries just aren't it, but some are so fun. And it just makes me really proud of the me that was back here doing this stuff. And I also really love a different version of this where I'd use a brush pen and a Pilot Acro ballpoint. I just love bouncing back and forth between these sections and different things. And I mainly do this as a creative practice, of course, but then keeping a memory book because my chronic illness stuff, it really affects your brain and your sense of time and memory. And so the idea that I would be having all these experiences and not remembering it just really bums me out. It also keeps me from reading as much as I want to read, which is why I have a reading journal. But all these things take time and quiet, and those are things I have not always had and rarely have. So we're letting that dry. I'm going to keep this open so I don't make a huge mistake with that. I am keeping that notebook in this Galen Leather A5 folio, where I always have about 6 pens and then some washi. I've just really, it's wonderful to be able to grab this thing, stick it in a bag, stick it in a purse, and just run for it. I also keep some stamps here in case I need it. I usually am going to have all vanishing points right here and one sailor, and then my 2 Lamis or Bennu or some of the lower price pens, basically. Things that can touch and I won't be upset. And then I have whatever I need to mail is right there. And it's just a nice routine that I can always know where to expect. Sometimes I will hide some stickers back here that I usually forget. So I have that Galen, and then I'm either sticking this cousin in it or this more longer form notebook. And this is where I've really worked out some of the more deeper journal entry stuff. Also kept a little bit of a sketching practice. Sometimes I'll sketch like feelings, and then sometimes I'll sketch silly things. So it's a lot of cats. It's a lot of cats. Like a lot of cats. Again, I love it. And I just trying out different combinations, different colors. I saw on Reddit somebody was doing washi like down the sides, and that really inspired me. And sometimes I'll do like a proper prompt and work on stuff. More cats. And so I've marked these pages where I left them blank because I'd really like to fill this up. This is a notebook from the DC Pen Show 2024 with Cosmo Air Light in it, and it's just a really high quality paper. But it's also just so big. It's like 200 and 300 pages, and I'm just done with this paper personally. It's really nice. It's lovely, but I want to write a Midori again. It's called what I'll have a bunch of journal entries in a bunch of different places. That's fine for many people. I did it for many years, but I'd love to just fill it and be done. So on to the pen tour. These are the things I've got inked for now, and then we'll go through my box and then there'll be a part 2 with what's in my purse right now. So this is what I've inked for right now, and I've got first up, we have well, I'm used to putting opera rose in this one. So we've got Tokyo Denim in a custom grind of Twisby Diamond 580. We've got Teranishi Opera Rose back in the Sailor Winter Sky King of Pen. This is just lovely. While my business was shutting down, I really had to make some tough decisions with pens, and this was the one I decided to keep, and I decided to sell my pink King of Pen. So that's why that little beauty disappeared. I don't have any regrets. I think it was time to let that pen go. I really love it. If I was independently wealthy, I would definitely be trying to buy that back, but I'm very pleased with the one I kept, and I think it's right for now. I put Troublemaker Milky Ocean in this vanishing point with a medium nib. Absolutely love this combination. Troublemaker Milky Ocean, if you take a risk on anything, just go get it. Just get that one. It is glorious. It is one of the best things that's ever happened to me. It might just look like this medium blue. Let's see if I can get this closer. It looks like this medium blue, but it's got pink undertones. It's got like cornflower undertones. It's just amazing. And it changes depending on what nib you have it in. So this is like a medium or finer one. Sometimes I'll put it in an architect and it just blows my mind. So this is a Decimo that I've got the bellflower in. I'm trying to come to love the bellflower. I do like a surprising dark color where it looks black or blue, but it's got things going on. So I think that'll be a winner. I just have to figure out the right paper. And then I've got the 823. Usually Momiji feels right in this, but I just came out of having a red rose mix in it. So I wanted to go very different. And I got the Iroshizuku in there. Which is like a deep teal. It's really lovely. But again, depending on the paper, depending on the nib size, this goes from a really bright, vivid, screaming turquoise to a very deep turquoise like there. It's lovely. And then finally, this special edition, limited edition Decimo, I've got Sailor Emerald Sea Glass. This is an ink that I've had for a year or two, and it's just so dang dry. It just wouldn't freaking work. And I kept it for the right day. And then I finally put some lightning solution. So this is the limited edition one that I got through the pen group. It's really lovely. It's like a glowing green. And then this is the FPR Railroad X. This is like ink lubricating additive. You just have to be so careful with this. I've absolutely ruined a bottle of ink because I put too much in and I did the whole thing. It's better to do just a sample and put a single drop per 10 milliliters, but I don't always follow instructions. So I took a risk. I know it was dumb, but it did pay off, and I put 2 small drops in this entire thing. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it flows, it's luminous, it's beautiful. I love it. So that is good to go. And this is just what I have currently inked as like pens that were married to an ink, and now I'm changing it up and moving things around. And that's what I'll try to work with the next few weeks. As for the rest, the collection, and then I'll take a big family photo at the end. What I do, I have a Toyuka craft box. And so the top row in there, long story. So I saw it at the most recent fountain pen show. I had a similar box. I felt dumb for having an expensive box and I sold it. Regretted it every day. Went back, went to the new show, saw this box. It was the last one. It was so special. And I had to take it home. There was nothing that could stop me. So I morphed it into a birthday present, summer present, and put all of my earnings from teaching the watercolor class into that box. And no regrets. Frankly, no regrets. The only regret is that I bought a extra, you have to buy the pen inserts separately. The part where the pen like rests, whatever that's called. I know there's a word, but I'm forgetting it. And I actually bought the one that goes on the very top of it, not in the drawers. Now I have 2 drawers, but then one empty drawer where I have to stick this thing sometimes. So I need to figure that out and get a razor blade and cut it. But life is too much right now. So anyway, in the top drawer, we've got this little guy. We've got the Bennu. I still love it. I think if I add any pens, it might be a Bennu in the Earl Grey collection. There's a drink collection, so this is the matcha latte. I think I might need the Earl Grey because it has lavender in it, and then I'd get it either at EF or at F because it's just so smooth. But I want to try that at a pen show or a pen group meeting. Then we've got the VPs and the E95s. So there's 2 more E95s that I can bring into the mix, but they're downstairs. This silver vanishing point has had saltwater taffy in it forever. It is simply the perfect mix. This is a pen marriage. I do not see this changing for my lifetime. I also really like the silver body for this. It is wild because I got this as just a throwaway. It didn't really appeal to me or draw me in. And there's just something about it. Maybe it's because it's a lower end finish and stuff. I don't feel as precious with it. It feels like this can just go with me and do what I want it to do. I don't have to be so careful. But then also the nib is just super wet. It's on the very juicy side of medium. And with this ink, it's just the best experience in the world. And then we've got this special edition my parents brought back from Japan. This is just one of the most surprising and thoughtful and just truly surprising gifts I've ever received. This was my first VP. I wasn't sure I'd like a vanishing point. They just grabbed what they could. They were in a great store with these pens, and I'm forever grateful. So this has a fine nib, and it's got Terraneishi nostalgic honey in it. Then we've got my Obsession E95. I buy this in backups. This one is a medium. I didn't know they came in mediums. I only had the fine, which I got tuned up by Damien at all in the nib. So Desert Island pens, it would be the fine of this and then the medium of this. And then probably this. I don't know. That's hard to think about. And then I've got it in a bold as well. Didn't know it came in bold. So I'm just happy as a clam. And I've got the short rickshaw sleeve, the Miami sleeves where all the pocket pens fit wonderfully. And that is the pilots for now. Then we've got another TWSBI. This one has the Atramentis Document Black, and it's a wonderful custom grind by Damien. I finally got to do the classic thing where you go and you're just like, surprise me. Because I had 2 of these in a stub, and I was really over the stub, even though they were wonderful smooth stubs. And he did such a good job with this. Damien rocks. And I love it because it's this icy finish, and it's very smooth and almost has an architect thing going on, where it's thin that way and then a little thicker that way, and it just provides the most wonderful variation. So I'm really pleased with that, and it turned it into something that I'm using at least weekly, whereas before it was hidden away. Then we can get into these sailors. And some of the sailors are downstairs because I've been having them on the go with me. So we've got the Stormy Seas, which is a classic. Again, I don't think I can let go of this. It turns out in a surprise reveal, this is a hard medium. I know. This might blow your mind the way it blew my mind, but I thought it was a medium. But it's a hard medium, and it's just the super crazy wet Noodler's ink that makes it so juicy, and I love it. This pen has been married to this color since I got it. I keep trying it with other colors. I just can't. I always go back to it. Then we've got the Naginata Architect something. And this is usually married to Troublemaker or Olivine, but I decided to change things up, and it's got the deep dark orange. So it's a very seasonally mature and epic thing. And what I love most about this ink combination, it ends up having so much shading and variation. You can see it here. And I don't know how much it comes across on the camera, but it's like, it just looks like fire. It's very light orange to very deep red, and it's really satisfying to write with. Hopefully it doesn't just look like ketchup on the camera, but who knows. And so that's the sailor. And then downstairs I'll have a Fresca to show you, which was my acquisition from the pen show this year, 2025. I actually traded a different brand new matte black vanishing point to get a price deal to get some money off of the Fresca, and I'm very pleased. And it's a medium. And so with the King of Pen, and then this, and then the white 1911L that I also have, is just a really satisfying Sailor collection. And then we've got the 2 Stylus Suites. I'm not as sweet on them. Oh, Stylus Suites. I get it. That wasn't even on purpose. That's how slow my brain is going. I was really obsessed with these last year. This one is still marvelous. I guess I just find myself doing, like, artistic, huge loops a lot less. When it comes to letter writing, I've been really focused on the pens over here. But this one, something weird is going on. I didn't drop it or anything, but the tines are, like, twisted a lot. So I took it to the pen show, and he fixed it, but then it's doing it again. So I don't really know what's going on. And fortunately, he is very responsive and an awesome guy. So I have an email out to him, and maybe I can send it to him and fix it. But I might just be I'm just letting those feelings lie. And that's one of the things that perhaps I've matured with when it comes to collecting is once that feeling comes or goes about a pen, I used to just hop on a Slack, get rid of the pen. It is a very short loop of finding out I didn't love the pen. But now I'm just sitting with it a bit. I'll just clean it out and put it in 10 pen storage and then let it rest. And then in a couple weeks or months, you have a new pen. So I think what I'll do, I'll probably clean out the Stylus Suites and pop them in here, and that way they're out of sight, out of mind. I did that with a platinum Procyon something that I had, but then I donated it to the Pelican Hub as a raffle. I have another Vanishing Point, a limited edition copper that's just sitting in the closet because I'm just not ready to load it yet. And maybe I will soon. But the need to like immediately sell the pen or immediately buy the pen, I think those needs have slowed down as I've matured with the pens. So I think that's pretty darn healthy. And then I also have the 2 Safaris. This was just my first pen ever, and it means a lot to me, and I love it. Usually it also had document black, but I was trying to change it up. So this one has robin's egg blue right now. And I keep those right there for just a dash of color. All right, a quick set change. I had some pens that I've been carrying around in my bag because I'm using them. So here's the Rickshaw Short. That's just perfect for an E95 pocket pen. And this is the Fine. And we've got a Decimo in Fine, the Sailor 1911L Fresca that I negotiated my way to at the 2025 pen show. And then my first Sailor, the 1911L in white and gold. I got a nice deal on this gray market just to try Sailor and was really pleased. So right now I've got Pelican Rose Quartz in this one, just trying it out. And in this one, I've got Sailor Fuji trying it out. And that is yet another reason I really love doing the practice squares because it lets me really explore in ink. Let me show you a page I just finished. This is the Fresca. And using it just on pages to write, I wasn't super impressed, but using it in the Fresca, like, this really pleases my eyes, especially the little fluff balls over here. Doing tiny sketches like this, it just lets you explore all these inks and really get a sense of how they perform and then explore them in a new and different nib. I'm going to have a walkthrough. I finished the first third, so I'm going to have a walkthrough of that soon, if I can remember, and sit down and do it. So I'm going to get all these pens together for picture time and take a family photo. I need a lot more alone time than a normal human being. And I need a lot more alone time than I thought I would, which is just surprising and honestly disappointing. Maybe as I grew up, it felt like I should be more social, or definitely the messaging I got from parents and family is that you should want to be social and be a hostess and kind of make things about other people. But really, like, my happy place is one-on-one and alone. I feel like that's not that lonely. I have a really good time. I'm sure part of that is just from energy. It takes a lot of energy to make other people comfortable. So maybe that's what the videos do. It makes it feel like a really safe way to be with other people, but on my own terms. That feels like a weakness, but I'm working on it. Storage. So I ended up getting a large rickshaw. I love it. So I will usually travel with this, with a couple vanishing points in a Sailor, and then the other Miami with the short with my E95s, and that's my to-go routine if I need it in the bag. Then if I'm journaling, I'll just have whatever I've picked for my spreads in here and carried around. So, working great. No changes. Sticker and washi wise, this was a new change for me. I got a bunch of mints for my kids. Cotton candy mints are a thing, by the way. They're pretty good. And realized I could just pop all my washi in here. And I'm pleased. I don't buy a lot of washi. I'm not like nuts about it. I see some people with washi collections that make my eyebrow raise because it's more than the human being could ever use. But I'm really pleased. I use all of these except probably this one. I love it. It's just really thick. But I use all of these very regularly, and especially as my kids start having more homework, which is the bane of my existence, but it gives me a lot more opportunities to play with stationery. So I'll use some of these. I've donated a couple to their cause, like the seasonal ones particularly. I'm not crazy about these. They picked these at the 2024 Fountain Pen Show. And then I keep my stickers organized here. Not too bad. I've done a great job of using stickers, A, and then B, setting aside ones that I know my nieces will love right away. So I can keep them shuffling out of the house. So I still have my sticky subscription. It's just one of my indulgences that I really enjoy still. And then I ordered a bunch of cool stamps on USPS.com. Is really cool. So I got Goodnight Moon, love stamps, D&D with a bunch of dragons, and then I just love this old sketch style. It's the Boston 2026 World Stamp Show. Just love that. And then baby animals. So I've got letters to write. Again, I have a couple paper sets that I've enjoyed. This I got at the 2025 show. It was this Italian stationery that was in the room with Gable Mother. Really extraordinary. My friend Eric got some and showed it off, and I knew right away I would need to go and get that too. It holds fountain pen very well. It's just very nice, very extraordinary, and I'm very happy. I got this and then a full page sheet and then a couple of these just as gifts and presents for stuff. Then I got a little note set for my mom, stuff like that. And yeah, I love it. Makes letter writing very fancy, very easy. I did get a question about reading journals. So like I said, I have a chronic illness. It's called SIRS, and it's related to mold toxicity, and it's got some genetics in there, autoimmunity, and it leaves me tired. It messes with my memory. There's a lot of, it's weird to say out loud, but there's a lot of life that I just don't remember. So there are memories people have of me and us. And I know not everybody remembers everything. I'm not saying everybody should know everything that's ever happened to them or have a photographic memory. But there are like really significant periods of my time that I just can glimpse through fog sometimes. Or maybe the memory comes back if someone describes it to me in detail, but who really knows? And I found that is one of the reasons over the years I've become much less of a reader, which bumps me out. So I'll read a lot of candy fiction, stuff that doesn't really matter if you don't remember it. But I used to really love it, this deep connection to reading, and would do it all the time. And so one of the things I've done to help that come back and to feel like I won't lose all of it is I'll take notes and tab things as I read. So like Madness, Rack, and Honey, I'll highlight it or do sticky tabs as I go. So maybe every couple pages, there'll be something I really want to remember. It's really beautiful. And then I'll actually copy it out into here. And so we've got the inner game of tennis, and I'll have down one side, I'll actually copy out what the author wrote, and then I'll have some kind of response to it. And so this is a reading comprehension activity people can do with kids or as you're learning to read. But it also helps me practice the language and how they write, which is fun for studying tone and voice and all this stuff that I do in my job. But then also I can create this interaction or memory of it for myself to remember what my reflection was. And so it's just slow moving. I love doing it, but you really need 30 minutes to sit down and do it a couple times a day if you want to progress through both. But it's just a practice I love. I did Still Writing by Danny Shapiro, How to Write and Read a Sentence by Stanley Fish. That was lovely. And This Rack and Honey is what I'm working on currently. And it gives me a chance to practice with the pens, to work on my handwriting. You can see my handwriting kind of changes over time. And this is a Hobonichi. And I've got a novel that I started in the back. I've not had time to. And then some handwriting practice, fragrant smirk pie. And then when I start a new book, I'll start a new tab somewhere and just give myself space. And then a little note of when I read it. So this is very much in progress. I've been working on this since 2021. Yeah, so you can see it's an investment, but I love it. And someday I'm told I will have free time again and I'll be able to do that. But so if I'm heading out and I know I'll have a half hour to sit, I can really easily just grab these two things and then feel like I can make some progress and do some stuff with the book that I love. The final thing I wanted to share is this cool printer that I got. This is my friend Michael, who passed away in January. Miss you every day. And so this case came separately, but I'm glad I got a case. It all just fits together. This is the Canon Q20. And what happens is you turn it on, you load each set of photos comes with a printer cartridge. You pop it in and pop in the paper in the back. It connects to your phone, and then you pick a couple photos that you want to print. The reason I went with this one is because it's not dye sublimation. It's actually printed photos. And so it ends up being a bit thicker paper. That's the pros and cons you're working with. When it's dye sublimation, it's basically receipt paper, and it's going to disappear in a year or two. And I would really love to be able to look back. Like, the whole point is memories and remembering things. So I would love in 10 years to be able to look at my journals and still see the photos and stuff I used. So it's been extraordinary. And I found it is a little thicker. It's more like a photo when you just print it, but all of it is sticky. And so you can peel it open, and then it is quite slim. And it has not been too heavy for any of the pages that I've used. So behind a couple, you can see my kids here. It's quite thin. It's not adding too much bulk at all. I find it to be really nice. And it's just cute. There's just a couple pre-settings or like formats built in. There's the larger square and then a slimmer one. And then you can print the square as a map of 4, or even smaller. You can get 9 out of them. And so then I'll cut it up and then have these tiny stickers. It's really nice. I'd say the paper is pretty extensive. I just bought a couple boxes, I think as a birthday present, something like that. And so I maybe only print once a month, or if I want to send a picture or photograph to a friend or my mom or something, I will do it like that. This isn't really something I do every day, but it's really fun to have. And it's really fun to be able to give the kids physical media from their friends, their life, different things we've done. It just feels a lot like undystopian to be able to give photographs. And I really like that. So that brings us to a close. I'm going to edit in the pens that are downstairs and the illustration book that I'm working on. I am still doing my tiny doodle. I dropped off for probably like 3 months. I haven't done it at all, but I like to give myself breaks whenever I need them. So I don't feel bad about that. But I am back on it and it feels really good. I've really maxed out drawing everything that I see. I know you can spend a whole lifetime doing that, but I'm a little tired of it. And so when I went to see David Byrne at the Altria a couple weeks ago, life-changing art, can close my eyes and I'm right back there. It was just an incredible evening. But I got his art book and his book of photography of just from when he's been traveling around. And so one of the things I want to do is draw. I think I could challenge myself to do tiny doodles of everything in here. And I think we're going to do that just as a fun creative challenge. So I'm looking forward to that. And again, it keeps me present. It keeps me off my phone. It keeps my hand improving. It gives me something that I'm proud of that I made with my hands. And I don't think we get much of that these days. So thank you for checking out my collection. If you do a video or photos of your collection, I'd really love to see it because, again, one of the things that is so interesting is how people put together their collections and what they do. And I just love it. So thank you again, and I'll see you in the next video, probably a walkthrough of some tiny doodles.